Alright, I want to talk about Demon Slayer for a second, specifically the upcoming Infinity Castle arc. So, if you don't want to be spoiled for that arc, feel free to just scroll away, because this is going to be me ranting about a few of the fights in that arc. And more specifically, the fights against Upper Moon 2 and Upper Moon 1, Doma and Kokushibo. Okay, you've got your chance to scroll away. I'm going to get on to my little rant now. Who decided in universe, obviously in universe I'm speaking, that they would be a proper match? Like, some of these matchups were not balanced at all. And the biggest offender of this is the fight against Doma, Upper Moon 2, or in other terms, the third strongest demon alive. And they sent Shinobu, a Hashira that is not even strong enough to decapitate a demon if need be, a crackhead with a boar head, and Kaneo, who in their right mind thought that those three would be enough for the third strongest demon. No exaggeration, there's no possible way they should have won that. Like there is no denying they won by plot. Shinobu's poison is what entirely carried that fight, because Kaneo and Inosuke could hardly handle the 30% ice clones Doma was summoning. And Shinobu, after landing and getting all her poison set off, was almost immediately afterward blitzed in one shot. Like, I'm not saying they should have sent people that were fighting Upper Moon 1 against Doma, because obviously they needed the best of the best to fight against the best Upper Moon. And when I say best, I'm more so talking about best in terms of power output, not in terms of personal preference. That's Akaza for me. But speaking of Kokushibo, the two of the four people that are fighting against him makes sense. You have Sanemi and Guillaume, two of the strongest Hashira, and honestly, two of the strongest Demon Slayers alive. But then you have Morichiro and Genya. Like, again, Morichiro is strong, but he is 14, I believe. I get he is very powerful, especially he's definitely like up there in terms of the Hashira. But he has nowhere near enough of experience to should have been sent for that fight. Like, hell, swap his place with someone like Obanai, who was dealing with the likes of that, like, one teleporty demon. Or hell, literally anybody else. Because despite how strong he is, he does not have anywhere near enough experience, and got quickly distracted by the reveal that Kokushibo gave and just got sliced in half. But I could accept Morichiro being there. But why in the world was Genya there? Like, I get it, he can gain demon powers, but all he does is get demon physiology and a gun. That is not enough to deal with someone like Kokushibo. Hell, I would have accepted him joining the fight against Doma, because at least if he had the demon physiology, they could write to, like, oh, because of the healing factor of getting demon physiology, he could handle a prolonged fight against someone who could freeze your lungs. But out of the people that were fighting Kokushibo, the only two that were really doing anything actually relevant were Sanemi and Guillaume. The other two barely did a thing. Like, imagine, swap Morichiro and Genya out with two of the other stronger Hashira, and then have the two that were originally there, like, and swap them with other people. Or have those two go off to help other teams. Have those two either go off to help against Doma, or have them go off to have at least one of them join the fight against Akaza. Because in the fight against Kokushibo, it was a death sentence for them. They were barely able to do anything before they died. And if they did live long enough, they were basically just on the sidelines because they couldn't do anything. At least sending them against a weaker Upper Moon would give them a better chance of helping, at the very least. And again, I'll still stand by this. Someone like Obanai should not have been limited to just dealing with that one demon that was holding the Infinity Castle together. You should not have needed someone as powerful as Obanai to deal with that. Send someone like Morichiro after that. Send somebody, anyone but one of your strongest soldiers. But yeah, those two fights are my biggest gripes out of every one of the fights in Demon Slayer. Because despite how much I like the fight against Kokushibo versus Sanemi and Guillaume, there's a reason people only refer it as a 1 versus 2. Because the other two that were present didn't do shit. And they would have been much better help literally anywhere else.